For review, we have the RS Regulate AK-300 rail system. This rail system basically consists of two different pieces, the lower and the upper. The upper, there's a lot of different options out there. I'll show you a couple of them in the video here. But and there's also a couple different lowers as well, each geared towards a specific type of AK. But we'll get more into that coming up next. But for now, let's keep putting some rounds down range and see how well this side rail mount holds up. What we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and test this rail system's ability to return to zero. I got two targets downrange, about 50 meters, well not about, exactly 50 meters, and they're next to each other. We're going to go ahead and shoot a group, take it off, and beat it around a little bit, put it back on, shoot at the next target, and see how those groups compare. Maybe kind of slow video, I apologize for that, but we'll go ahead and see what we can do. Safety on. Go ahead and remove it from the rifle. Drop it on the ground a couple times. The optic that we're using on there is the Bushnell TRS, for anybody wondering. TRS 25. Go ahead and remount it up to the rifle. Secure it down. And I'm going to shoot 3 rounds at the next target. So here we go. Alright, let's go down range, check it out. So here we are down at the targets. You can see the first group, I definitely had a flyer, which was the second shot. There's zero doubt in my mind about it. I knew it when the trigger broke. But the first and the third are right there. And then with the second group, after we put it back on there, you can see they're all touching the gray inner circle, which both of these two are, with the exception of flyer. Again, I'm sure if you guys go back and watch the video, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, when there was definitely some shooter error in there. So all in all, I'd say it did pretty well. For the distance we were shooting at, those are excellent results for taking it off, putting it back on. I'd say it held zero. I went ahead and removed the system from the rifle just so we could go ahead and take a closer look at it. One thing I wanted to show you is that all the pieces, both top and bottom pieces, come in a sealed box, so that way you know nobody's been tampering with your mount, and that all the hardware is going to be in there. So anyway, I'll move that off to the side and we'll take a closer look at it. Like I just mentioned, it is a system. So there's a bottom piece, which is what actually attaches to your rifle with clamps on there, and we'll get into that in detail in just a second, and also a top piece. You can buy them separately, so that way if you want to mix and match depending on what kind of optic you're running, you do have the option, and it is a modular system. So in terms of the bases here, this right here is what is called the AK-300. It's a lightweight optic. It has the 1913 style Picatinny rails mounted up towards the front. I personally chose this one because I like my optics to be generally in the middle of my rifle for them to balance well, but they also offer other options. One of them is going to be the AK-302, which has the rail section slightly to the rear, so that way it's not going to be getting in the way of those top cover mounted sights that are on like a AK-74 SU or a Crank, as a lot of you guys may know it. The AK-303 is the largest, has the most rail section. It's going to be a little bit heavier, but it's going to give you the most options in terms of moving your optic front and rearward. And the AK-310 is the most recent addition to the lineup. That one is for the M10 rifles that are becoming more and more popular here in America. The reason is the rail attachment point on those rifles is a little bit different height than your standard AKM pattern rifles. Moving on to the top pieces that the optics actually mount onto, the one you see in front of you here is the AKR. This one has the 1913 style rails, and it will allow you to mount anything that's going to use those rails. Like here we have the Bushnell TRS 25. Also, if you want to go ahead and mount scope rings on there, anything like that, it does offer that accommodation. The AKML mount allows for mounting of Aimpoint T1 optics or any of their clones like the Primary Arms Microdot and any others that are out there with removable bases that use the same mounts as the Aimpoint T1. The ACOG mount is going to allow for mounting of ACOG optics, compact ACOGs, as well as any of the optics from Bro that use the same mounting system. The 30mm mount is going to allow for use of any sort of optics that have 30mm tubes, to include the Aimpoint Pro that you guys saw in the beginning of the review. The pricing on the lower pieces are generally going to be around $120, and the prices on the top pieces are generally going to come in right around $60. One thing that's nice about this system is that it allows you to adjust the way the optic sits over your bore laterally. So as you know, most AKM pattern rifles aren't all built to the same specs depending on the country, the plant where they're produced, the time that they're produced, etc. So when you go ahead and mount this up, you're able to move it laterally so that way you can center it over your bore and also center it with your sights if you're using a co-witness option. So as you can see here, mine are kind of pushed over to the right because on both rifles that I was using, you can see the gap here. On both rifles that I was using, both the SGL-31 as well as the Wasser that I used to test this out, both of those, that's the way it sat best over the bore. But if your rifle is different, you can adjust it and then tighten it down and you're good to go. To mount this system on your rifle, all you need to do is go ahead and get it adjusted where you want it. Tighten down your included hardware. I do recommend you use some blue Loctite on there. There also is the option of pinning, and the pinning is for what RS Regulate calls aggressive use environments. Honestly, I've been in some pretty aggressive use environments, if you will. I've never pinned anything to a rifle, and with a little bit of blue Loctite, I've always been pretty much good to go. So, but if you want to do that, the option is there. The pins are included with the set. You just need to drill it out, and you can go ahead and press those pins in there, and it will be absolutely set and rock solid. Not that this isn't, but for those guys that are concerned with those kind of things, it is an option. But to go ahead and set it on the rifle, this is a SLR 106 that this has never been on before. So we're going to go ahead and see how it sits on there. And just trying to put it on there is way too tight. No doubt about it. So all you got to do is back it off a little bit. And the key to the way this mounting system works is this little titanium nut here. It is all titanium, so it's extremely strong, and it is what actually is going to clamp on to the rifle and hold your rifle secure. And what you saw earlier, that led to the ability to return to zero. So basically, to adjust it, you just got to loosen it up, push it down a little bit, and just like everything else, lefty loosey, we're going to go ahead and turn it one notch and go ahead and see if that fits. We're just loosening it up a little bit. You don't want it to be too loose, you don't want it to be too tight, and there you go, slides right in place without issue. And we're going to go ahead and close it, lock it down, and you lock it down, and you can see there just how slim that is when it goes on there. Not a lot of added extra bulk. Very, very slim, low profile. It's not going to catch on any gear, not going to snag. A lot of the older mounts out there had pieces that came down and kind of interfered with your trigger guard, particularly if you're a left-handed shooter. Well, with this system, you don't have that issue whatsoever. And on your gear, it's not going to get caught because it's actually the little clamp here actually sits flush with the rest of it. So you have to actually reach in there to pull it out, and you just reach in, pull it out, and then you can just slide it off, just like that. It's that simple. One thing I forgot to mention earlier in the review is that they are made out of 6061 T6 Type 3 hard anodized aluminum. Very durable, very rugged stuff, and a great anodized finish on there. It's going to hold up well over time. But all in all, guys, this is an excellent system. I've used several side mounts over the years, and prior to this one, it seems that they've all kind of just basically been adaptations of the Russian system. The mounting was a little bit harder to do, if you will. It's not adjustable. If it was adjustable, it was difficult to adjust, and they didn't attach quite as securely. A lot of times they actually secured by bending the mount itself. The way that they clamped on it would actually bend the aluminum to the side mount on the AK. This one's completely different, as you guys saw. The titanium screw and the adjustable spring on there makes all the difference in the world in terms of ease of mounting and return to zero. So it's an excellent concept. I've read several other reviews that other folks have done with this. No one has had a problem with it. I have not had a problem with it. Honestly, I really haven't found a negative to it yet. Great little product, and like I said, it's the best side mount I've used to date. I picked mine up over at Circle 10 AK, and there are several other places out there. They do, at least as of June 2013, they are relatively hard to find, I should say. They're selling out, and for good reason, because it's a great product. So you can check RS Regulate's website for a couple other places in case Circle 10 goes ahead and runs out, but they do have them in stock, at least as of this video. So if you guys have any questions about this side mount, anything else I review here on the channel, you can post below in the comment section. You can also post over at my Facebook page. I'll do my best to respond to you guys, but thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I truly appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and click the subscribe button right over here, and hope to see you guys in the next video.